It's Dave from Blackbird Cycles. We're getting ready to do a firefighter bike here. And I gotta peel the mask out. Once we get the mask on, then I can freehand in all the detail. Anyway, you get the gist of what I'm doing. I'll get this ready. Once it's ready, we'll put it on the fairing and start airbrushing it. Got the mask on, making sure it's pushed down everywhere it needs to be pushed down. Getting ready to start airbrushing the black. Doesn't look much right now. Once this is all just laying in the base colors, and the detail is the last thing you see when you're airbrushing. So we're just laying in these base colors and peeling mask. Well, this mask sticks a lot harder than the other mask that I use. I had to get this mask out of Kentucky. It is thinner mask, so gotta be careful with it. Make sure you get it all, because it'll fool you. You'll think it's paint line, it'll be mask. We're probably gonna do the silver next. Might be a little more black shading I gotta do, but we'll figure that out in a second after I peel the mask. gonna go ahead and hit the silver before we do the before we peel the rest of that skull. So I can keep it nice and clean. Got hoses everywhere, tripping all over everything. Notice I'm not pushing this down. I just painted that. It's got fresh paint on it. It's pretty much dry as soon as I get done with it, but I'm just kind of doing that to guard those two handles. Well, I say I was going to do that, but you know what? I'm going to go ahead and do the grays in that skull because mask it off. Just so I don't have to switch paint and airbrush 2 or 3 times here. Anything that's going to be red won't be unmasked yet, so. And I won't unmask the teeth till last because they'll stay white. Fortunately, I missed a piece of mask right there, so now I gotta freehand that in. That's okay. Yeah, we might require a little white. We'll probably have to put some flames in those eyes. So, we're going to clean the black out, get some silver going here. Okay, so now we're going to put some silver in here. Probably have to hit this with black again. Okay, so we got red mixed up, but we can't have any on this skull. We're going to do this. And I'm going to try to just get red on that helmet. Problem with red is it sprays around and will turn stuff pink if you're not careful. Okay. Mixed up a little brown for these handles. I don't want too much brown in them. Just enough to give it the effect. We're not going for a full-fledged look, you know what I mean. They're barely gonna be tinted. Now, kind of what I'm doing now is I'm just going back around the edges of this stuff. We're just toning down some stuff here and there. A little more shading in some places. Okay. Always use a dull blade for this. Dull blade doesn't want to nick the paint underneath too bad if you're careful. You still got to be careful. Just make sure you're pulling on the mask and not digging into the paint underneath. And we want those teeth to stand out, but we don't want them standing out too much. So I like to just go down the center of them and over the top of them, around the bottom. And they're wide enough. When that clear goes on there, that white will stand out a lot. And we want this to look more like a firefighter skull that's been fighting fires more or less, instead of, you know, a bright white skull. This is a skull that's been through hell and back getting some fires put out. So we want to make sure he's appropriate. Here in a minute I'm going to pull the whole mask and you'll see what I'm talking about. This is going to be pretty cool. We'll get you to a better spot. My understanding is the 343 in the helmet there's for all the fallen firefighters, 911. We got a little bit of cleanup to do right there with some towel, with some 2000 grit sandpaper. We'll take the rest of that out. Wet sanding. That's the bad thing about conforming mask over a area it's not flat. That's why I put a layer of clear. Like I'm airbrushing on this white. I got a layer of clear after I put the white on. Normally, a lot darker colors, I'll just airbrush straight over the base coat. On white, we are going to absolutely put a clear coat over it. That way we can scuff off overspray and stuff like that, and nothing gets on the white that way. This is getting red stripes that are going to go through here that we're about to put in as well. And I got to put some flames in the eyes. So it's hard to get a good view of this, but this one's going to be nice. We decided that the only stripes he wanted up here were just the thin ones. We were thinking about putting the large stripes on there, but we decided against it. I think it'll take away from the artwork, it'll take away from the skull, and he thought the same thing. It was actually, he suggested it. I was thinking it, but I didn't want to say it. I wanted to hear him suggest it to make sure that's what he really wanted and wasn't just listening to me. So that's the tape right there. Here's more red. This is where the axe handles are. I want the stripe to fade in and out of that. I don't want it to come right up to the axe handle. See, I got a little bit of red overspray right there, but that'll scuff right off. That's the advantage of having that clear, that layer of clear underneath this, over the white and underneath the artwork. Oh, a little bit there too. My taping is getting careless. But that's 1,000 right here. And we can take that right off that clear. That quick. And I will wet sand where I had this red paint just so that I know it's off that clear. And good to go. There's the fairing with the stripes and the artwork. We will be back with one of the bags here in a little bit. We're getting ready to do the axes on the bags. So we'll be right back with you. This green masking paper is a little heavier. Not as heavy as butcher paper, but it's a little heavier. This will be a bracket that holds this axe on later. Oh, could find a piece of paper. Be right back. I used one of these art tablets to use for a mask because it's thick paper and it holds up to ink, paint. Pull you over here a little bit. This won't look like much now, but it will later. Oh, gotta get some more black. Well, that'll be the handles. Take the wrong side of this one. Get that. Now, I'm just laying some base shading in right now because we got colors that's going to go in here. These are going to be wood grain, and I'll probably have to go back over this with the grain again. But if I put some on now, and we go over this with that brown, then it'll look better. It'll look like there's more wood grain there than what there is. I guess we can mix up some red and some brown now. Not bad, not bad. It's gonna look good after we sweating all over everything. A little bit of overspray I might sand off. That'll come right off here in a minute. Yeah, I know, I didn't put enough tape on there, but I'll scuff that off in just a second. Right back down to the clear, we're good. And these are gonna look like they're strapped on. There'll be a hook here, there'll be a hook here. I forgot to mask that, but the hooks are gonna be silver anyway, so. But I am gonna put a little bit of shading underneath these, just so it looks like they're standing off just a little bit. There we go. So there's one fireman axe. Different style axe on this side. These will have some silver straps across to hold them on. I'm trying to decide if we're going to use an actual piece of chrome or if we're going to paint them on. So y'all hang with us.